All right, take a look at lesson 10-2, sixth graders. We're talking about comparing numbers in lesson 10-2. And one of the things that you have to remember when comparing numbers is to always compare them in the same form. Okay? Always compare the numbers in the same form. So if one is in a percent, one is in a mixed number, and one is in a decimal, are these numbers in the same form?
No.
No, they're not all in the same form. It's hard to compare these numbers unless you convert them all to decimals, for example. That's the easiest way to compare, is to convert them to decimals. Because then you can compare the places. Alright? And if you were to put them in order from least to greatest, you could look at the different places and what they mean. So the first number, 483%. How do you convert a percent to a decimal? Remember how to convert a percent to a decimal? Okay, Brett?
So the decimal is at the end of the number, and then you count with.
Okay, so what you're saying that since this is a whole percent,
Yeah.
the decimal is currently right here, and then how do we convert it to a decimal? A decimal number. Since percent means times what? A percent is a number times what number? Jen? 100. Any number times 100 converts it to a percent. Because a percent is always out of 100. Alright? So if this is the number converted to a percent by multiplying it by 100, then to undo that, what's the opposite of multiplying by 100?
Dividing by 100?
Yeah, dividing by 100. How would you divide this by 100 easily?
Well, do it all like you.
That is an easier way. Look at the answer and then see if you can figure it out. Max?
Just see how many hundreds there are.
Okay. There's an easier way than that. Dividing by 100. Nate?
Do 483 divided by 100?
Yeah, well, how can we do that easily without dividing it out? There's a simple way to do multiplying in 100 and dividing by 100. It has to do with the decimal point. I'll give you a hint. What's 4 times 100? 400, right? What's 400 divided by 100? 4. So what did we eliminate? The zeros. Okay, Max, you got it?
You just move the decimal point by however many zeros?
Right. And since we're dividing by 100 and it has 2 zeros, move it over 2 places. Isn't that why we get 4.83?
Yeah.
It's 483 divided by 100. We move this over 2 places, you get 4.83. Anytime you're dividing by a power of 10 or multiplying by a power of 10, you can just move the decimal place over. Okay? Nate?
What if you're not? Like you're dividing by 5.
Yeah, it only works for dividing by tens because our number system is in tens. Okay?
So you can do 50 because there's a 0 at the end?
No, only tens or hundreds or thousands or 10,000s or 100,000s because that's what each of the digits are worth. Okay? 40 is worth 4 tens. 400 is worth 40 tens or 4 hundreds.
What about the last number, the 5? Would it be worth 50 or just 5?
Ones, isn't it? The last place in the number system is ones. This is worth 4 ones.
So, so you can divide by 1 too, right?
Well, you can, but don't you just get the same number if you divide something by 1? Yeah. This one's already in decimal form, isn't it? How do you read this number? Cool.
4 and 85 thousandths.
Good. So you read the 4 and then read these numbers and say the digit of the last place. 4 and 85 thousandths. Right? And then you have to convert this number, 4 and 4/5. And we converted 4/5 before. Tyler, what was 4/5 as tenths? 4 and 8 tenths. Yep. And then to compare the places, we need to have, sometimes you have to put zeros in. So when you're comparing these numbers now, they're all in decimal form. They all have 4 in the tens place. These two have 8 in the what? What place is this?
Tens.
The tens place. Both these numbers has 8 tenths. So which one is the smallest? Daria?
The 4 and 85,000.
All right, good, because this has 0 tenths, doesn't it? So this one is the smallest. We are putting these numbers in order from least to greatest. We'd write 4.085, and then that is less than, that's the less than sign. What's the next number? What's the next smallest? Alex?
4.8.
4.8, or what's
4 and 8 tenths.
4 and 8 tenths, or if we use the original numbers,
4 and 80.
which one is that?
4 and 4/5.
4 and 4/5. And that is less than, so we use the less than symbol. Ariana? 483. And that's the biggest, isn't it? Okay. Now, go to your book and go to page 295. Let's look at some positive and negative numbers. How would you compare -2 and -1.5? On a number line with 0 in the middle, which one is less? And why? Jen? Is less than -2? Or is the absolute value less than the absolute value? So, in other words, when we look at this, which one would be farther to the left? -2 would be, right? -2, -1, and in between would be -1.5, right? So which one is smaller? What symbol should we put in between these numbers? Liz? What symbol should go in between?
Plus.
then.
So then read it.
-2 is less than -1.5.
Yeah, why, Emily?
Because -1.5 is closer to holes.
Close to the holes, so it's farther to the right. -2 is farther to the left, so it's less. On a number line, the less than numbers are always farther to the left. Right? On this side, -1, -2, and, sorry, +1, +2. And 1.5. 2 is bigger than 1 because it's farther to the right. So the numbers to the left are less than the numbers to the right. Right? Now, your assignment is to use those symbols and what we've talked about and do 2 through 18 evens. Okay? Page 295, 2 to 18 evens.